My beloved child, now as night falls upon the earth, I come to speak to you about something of great importance. You are being hidden, not in darkness but in light. Not because you are weak, but because you are being protected. Not because you are forgotten, but because you are being prepared. My child, there are things the natural eye cannot understand yet, the Spirit knows deeply. And today I desire to open the eyes of your heart that you may see what is truly taking place around you. There are those who watch your steps closely, but do not be afraid. They do not come to understand you, but to take from you. They do not seek light, but wish to use your light to guide their own ambitions. Their words sound sweet, but their hearts harbor suspicion. They draw near not to lift you up, but to pull you down. I have seen their schemes before they were conceived. I have heard their whispers before they were spoken. I know every step they plan, every wall they build. But do not let fear take root in you, for nothing happens outside of my permission. From the beginning I placed a divine seal upon you, a mark the enemy cannot erase. Before you knew the name of faith, I knew you. Before you understood surrender, I saw the treasure hidden within your soul. Every strand of your hair is counted. Every breath you take carries purpose. Every season you pass through is written in my design. And now I am leading you into a new chapter, the season of intentional hiding, where you will learn that silence itself can be a form of strength. Do not mistake stillness for abandonment. Do not think loneliness means punishment. I lead you into the secret place not to isolate you, but to restore you. Just as a seed must be buried before it can bloom, you too are being hidden to prepare for a radiant season of growth. Everything I do moves according to the rhythm of heaven, not rushed, not delayed, but perfectly timed. Do you remember in Scripture, when Elijah was pursued, I told him to hide by the brook Cherith, and there ravens brought him bread each day. I am doing the same for you. I will not leave you to face the storm without shelter. I cover you under the shadow of my wings. I surround you with the armies of heaven, so that no arrow can pierce your spirit. But understand this, hiding is not retreat, it is a divine strategy. For sometimes to appear too soon is to destroy what I am still building. A flower that blooms in winter will fade before spring arrives. That is why I hide you, not to make you disappear, but to help you grow in silence. I am teaching you how to hear amid the noise, to see what lies beyond appearances, to recognize my spirit in the smallest movements of life. In this season you may feel alone because I am quieting the voices around you. I am removing those who once understood you, the relationships that once felt secure. You may ask, Lord, why are you setting me apart? But know this, no separation comes without purpose. Moses lived hidden in the desert for 40 years before leading my people to freedom. David hid in caves, hunted and forgotten before being anointed king. Even my son Jesus spent 30 silent years in Nazareth before beginning his ministry. Do you see, my child? Every true glory is born in secret. I am sharpening your soul. I am stripping away the excess so that only the essence remains. I am teaching you that stability is not found in applause but in obedience. I am showing you that true light does not argue for recognition, it simply shines. My child, trust the process. Do not run from the place I have placed you. Do not knock on doors I have closed. Do not rush to speak while I am still shaping the words within you. There are messages I am inscribing upon your soul, and if you allow them to mature, they will become a sword in my hand. I know there are moments when you feel forgotten amidst the noise of the world, but my beloved, no one can forget what I have engraved on the palm of my hand. As Micah 7:8 declares, though I fall, I will rise. Though I sit in darkness, the Lord will be my light. Remember, darkness can surround, but it cannot consume the light. When I allow shadows to come, it is so that the light within you may be revealed not just to others, but to yourself. I want you to understand that your light does not depend on circumstances, but on my presence within you. When you truly know this, you will no longer fear being hidden. You will realize that hiding does not make you smaller, it makes you deeper. That silence does not make you weaker, it makes you sharper. In the days ahead, you may see many doors close. Relationships may grow distant. Plans you once trusted may fade like smoke. Do not panic. Do not blame yourself. Do not try to fix what I am intentionally dismantling, for I am the one closing the doors that no longer serve my purpose in your life. I will not allow you to remain where my grace no longer flows. I will not let you be tied to what drains your soul. I am clearing the ground around you to prepare for a new planting. Like a gardener pruning branches that no longer bear fruit, I am cutting away what weighs your spirit down. Every cut has meaning. Every separation carries grace. Every silence holds a word from me. Trust that I never remove without intending to restore greater. I never empty a space without planning to fill it with something better. Be still. Let my spirit soothe your wounds. Let me heal the parts you still hide. Let my light fill the corners of your soul you've kept closed. For only in hiddenness can I perform my deepest work within you, my beloved child. There are things you can only learn in silence. Wisdom is not born in crowds, but in communion and quiet. I know you long to act, to speak, to step forward and prove what I have placed inside you. But hear me. My child, not every opportunity comes from me. Not every invitation leads to destiny. Some doors open to test you, not to welcome you. Some people are sent to test your heart, not to strengthen your faith. And only when you learn to remain hidden in wisdom will you discern which voice is mine, which belongs to the world, and which is merely the echo of your own heart. My beloved child, I have placed within you a sacred compass, the Holy Spirit. He whispers things your reasoning cannot grasp, yet your spirit recognizes. When you feel a stirring within, I want you to pause and ask, Lord, is this you? For what comes from me always carries peace, not haste, clarity, not confusion, steadiness, not turmoil. When the enemy speaks, he drives you into urgency, making you fear that if you do not act now, you will miss your chance. But when I speak, you sense peace, even when the path ahead is still veiled. That peace is the sign, it is my seal. Do not let feelings lead you beyond the borders of wisdom. The heart is a precious gift, but without the guidance of my spirit, it can carry you to places I have not called you to go. You must learn to let heart and mind walk together in the light. I gave you a heart to feel and a mind to discern. When these two move in harmony under my leading, you will walk in complete wisdom. Many in this world have turned zeal into the measure of faith, yet zeal without discernment breeds disorder. Emotion can blaze like fire, but that fire must be kept within the vessel of wisdom, or it will scorch the very garden I am planting. I do not want you to be a flare that flares up and dies. I want you to be a torch, enduring steady, sustained by the oil of the Holy Spirit. Do you remember Solomon's story? When I gave him the chance to ask for anything, he did not ask for power, victory, or riches. He asked for wisdom to shepherd my people. Because he sought that, I gave him everything else as well. Wisdom is the foundation of every other blessing. If you have wisdom, you will know how to steward resources, guard your heart, and keep grace. Lacking wisdom, even the gifts you receive will slip away. Therefore, I am teaching you what is more precious than gold, something that cannot be bought by experience, but only received through communion with me. You may struggle when I delay what you have prayed for. Do not forget, some gifts can be carried only by those made mature in wisdom. A child cannot bear a sword. The impulsive cannot shoulder a calling. So I am teaching you patience, to shape your heart, to bend your will, to train your soul, to choose the eternal over the immediate. There are those who want to pull you into stories that are not yours, to drag you into arguments that bear no fruit. I say to you, do not answer every call. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every voice deserves a reply. When you enter a dispute, I did not send you into you waste sacred energy on what is empty. I have not called you to win with your tongue, but to win in your heart. I have not set you on human battlefields, but on spiritual ones, and there your weapon is not rhetoric, but obedience. Do not mistake wisdom for fear. The wise do not step back because they are weak, but because they understand timing. Sometimes the step back is the greatest advance in my plan. Joseph was sold into slavery, yet that very path led him to Egypt's throne. Daniel was thrown into a lion's den, yet that place of apparent ending magnified my name. When I hide you, it is not to erase you, but to prepare you for an emergence no one can deny. I know your heart has been shattered by misplaced trust. You opened yourself and met betrayal. You called someone friend, and they proved to be an instrument in the enemy's hand. I have seen these wounds. I have heard your quiet nights of weeping, but I will not let them be wasted. Each hurt has trained you to see more clearly, to feel more gently, to discern more purely. Do not grow bitter. Bitterness blinds the inner eye. Give thanks, for these very experiences are shaping you into my likeness, slow to anger, slow to speak, swift to listen. In John 10:27, Jesus said, "My sheep hear my voice. I know them, and they follow me." Do you hear it? He did not say all people hear, but my sheep do. Discernment is not merely a skill, it is the fruit of intimacy. When you stay close to me, you will recognize my voice among 1,000 others. As a child knows a mother's voice in a crowd, so will you know mine amid the world's clamor. And when you know my voice, you will no longer chase human approval. You will know what is true and what is counterfeit, what comes from me and what is deception dressed in light. I am leading you through a formation that trains your soul to see beneath the surface. You will read smiles and perceive motives. You will hear sweet words and sense the agenda. You will feel others' energies without being swept into them. I am training you to be a keeper of light, not only for your own life, but for other souls. You cannot guide anyone into the light if you yourself have not learned to recognize the dark. You cannot teach wisdom if you have not been forged by solitude, testing, and silence. Receive this season as a sacred school. Let me be your teacher, slowing you down, tuning your ear, clarifying your sight. I will give you small signals in ordinary days, gentle unrest, when something is not right, dreams that warn, scriptures that rise in your mind at the exact moment. Do not ignore them. This is how I speak. This is the language of my spirit. When you respond, I will reveal more. When you obey, I will speak deeper. The world grows louder by the day. Many speak in the name of truth. Many claim they carry light, but only the light born of me endures the storm. Let my word become your standard. If a thing draws you away from me, however lovely it appears, turn from it. If a relationship drains your soul, allow me to prune it. If a door opens without the accompaniment of peace, close it. Do not fear the loss, for I will not let you lose what is truly mine. When you walk in wisdom, you are not only protected from harm, you are guarded from deception. Wisdom is the invisible hedge around the soul. It does not make you cold, it makes you clear. It does not diminish your love, it purifies it. I do not want you to love naively, but to love in the light of understanding. This is love at its height, to love while seeing clearly, to trust, while discerning, to give, while keeping your soul anchored in me. And when you live this way, hiddenness will no longer be a refuge of fear, but a sanctuary of wisdom. There I meet you in the quiet, training you in every step, every thought, every response. You will not hurry to prove yourself, rush into every fight, or plead for recognition. You will need only me, and only then will you be truly free. My beloved child, when I call you to hide, it is not a sentence, it is an invitation. It is a call back to the deep place where you and I first met, where there is no human noise, no worldly rivalry, no judging gaze, only my presence saturating everything. It is there that I remake your life, not by the sword, but by grace, not by noise, but by my breath. You do not have to cling to what I have ordained. You need only let me reshape your soul with the hands of your Creator. There are things I cannot do while you stand in the crowd. There are wounds that can only be healed when you stop. There are words you can hear only when every other sound is silenced. So I have drawn you out of the race that you might hear me without confusion. Do not resist this separation. Do not think I have withdrawn my hand. On the contrary, when you feel most left behind, I am holding you closest. As a potter places a vessel in the kiln, I place you in the fire not to destroy but to strengthen. This flame will not consume you, it will refine you. It melts away the dross so the true gold may appear. Remember, child, no glory is born without fire, no light shines that has not been surrounded by night. I see your weariness. I know there are nights when you bow your head and ask, Lord, how much longer must I wait? Do not measure time by your calendar. Measure it by my purpose. When that purpose is complete, when what is within you has been formed, when your roots are deep enough to weather the wind, I will call you forth, and then you will not strain to shine, the light will simply pour out of you. My beloved child, hiddenness is the season of quiet miracles. Just as a child grows unseen within the womb, you too are being formed beneath my covering. Every spiritual cell is being restructured. Every wound is being healed. Every old thing is being exchanged for what is new. True transformation does not begin with a shout of triumph, but with a deep silence. There is one thing I want you to remember: never mistake my silence for my absence. I am still speaking, you are simply learning to hear on another frequency. Like a composer tuning an orchestra before the symphony begins, I am tuning the ears of your spirit so you can recognize heaven's melody. When you stop searching for human approval, you will begin to hear me clearly. When you stop comparing yourself with others, you will sense the rhythm of grace. When you loosen your grip on control, you will see that I have been placing something new into your hands all along. The world teaches that success is found in visibility, that worth is measured by influence. But I tell you, true worth is measured by how much of your soul I possess. Many rush to appear before their time, and their light burns out quickly. But I am making your light steadfast, unshaken by the winds of the world. You will not be a fleeting firework, but a lamp that burns through the night. And when I send you forth, the world will sense something different, not because you are louder, but because you carry a peace it cannot comprehend. Remember Joseph's story. When his brothers sold him, it seemed he lost everything, but that betrayal became the doorway to honor. He was imprisoned and forgotten, yet in the darkness of that cell, I forged in him a forgiving heart, a soul strong enough to bear glory without arrogance. Had he been released too soon, he would never have ruled Egypt. And if you were to step out too early, your own light would consume you. So let me decide the timing. I am never late, only perfectly on time when you are strong enough not to crumble under the weight of blessing. In this hidden season, I want you to look inward, not to condemn, but to understand. Let my spirit search every chamber of your soul. See what still binds you, what fear still grips you, what wound still bleeds unforgiven. You cannot enter a new season with an old heart. I cannot pour new wine into old skins, for they will burst and both be lost. I long to pour something new, but first you must be ready. That is why I am refining you, teaching you to release what is past so you can receive what is to come. Learn to love the quiet, for in silence you will hear my heartbeat. In loneliness you will feel my breath. In stillness you will see me move. Do not search for me in the noise. Find me in peace. I am not in the whirlwind, nor the earthquake, but in the gentle whisper. 1 Kings 1912. And there you will realize I was never gone. One day when the refining is complete, I will say, "My child, come forth." Then you will carry the fragrance of heaven, the scent of endurance, of faithfulness, of trust that has been tested. Your words will no longer be hollow, for they will carry the weight of my spirit. When you pray, heaven will respond. When you sing, walls will tremble. When you touch, the broken healing will flow, not because of your effort, but because I live within you. And all will see not that you are exalted, but that I am glorified through you. So be patient in the process. Do not despair when you see no results. Every true greatness takes time to form. Like a pearl hidden in the shell, beauty is born under pressure and time. You are in that place, not forgotten, but perfected. I am the one who knows when to open, when to close, when to reveal you to the world, and when to hide you in my hands. And when that appointed time arrives, nothing can stop it. No accusation will hold you back. No door will need to be forced, for I, myself, will open it. Then you will know that every quiet season, every tear, every lonely night was not wasted. They were the foundation stones upon which I built my kingdom within you. And when you stand in the midst of the world carrying that light, you will no longer say, "Lord, why did you hide me?" but whisper, "Thank you for covering me, so I would not fade before I was complete." My beloved child, now that the light has begun to seep into your soul, I will teach you a gift that only the mature in faith can bear, the gift of discernment. This gift is the opening of spiritual eyes that see beyond appearances, recognizing truth among its imitations. For in these days, darkness no longer comes in obvious forms. It wears the robe of goodwill, of affection, of false light. If you see only with natural sight, you will think it comes from me. But when you look through the eyes of the Spirit, you will discern that it is nothing more than a flickering lamp of illusion. Therefore, I am opening your eyes to see not only what people do, but the spirit behind their actions. I am teaching you not only to hear what they say, but to perceive what their souls are speaking. I am leading you from reacting by emotion to responding by revelation. For the world has grown subtle. The enemy has learned to speak the language of light. He does not come grotesque, but gentle, courteous, even cloaked in truth. He whispers what sounds wise, but is sweetened poison. Just as the serpent said to Eve, "Did God really say?" The question seemed harmless, yet it planted doubt in the heart of man. The fall began not with rebellion, but with one tolerated distortion. Even now he works the same. He does not need you to deny me openly, only to question a fragment of my word, and the rest will crumble on its own. That is why I am teaching you to discern not merely between right and wrong, but between right and almost right. For what is almost true but not breathed by the Spirit of truth still leads the soul astray. My beloved child, at times the greatest test does not lie in avoiding what is evil, but in refusing what is good when it does not come from me. The enemy knows that once you have matured in faith, you will no longer be tempted by what is obviously sinful. So he changes his strategy. He will send you good opportunities, kind people, noble missions, and righteous causes. Yet if you pursue them without me, they will still lead you off the divine path I have prepared. Not every open door is mine. Some doors are built by human hands to lure you away from the place I have positioned you. Some hands are extended not to lift you up, but to pull you away from the light. Some praises are not genuine encouragement, but subtle traps. Only when your soul has been trained in silence with me will you recognize the slight but deadly misalignments hidden within them. My child, understand this: discernment is not suspicion. The skeptic looks at everything through fear, but the discerning one looks through light. Suspicion closes the heart. Discernment opens the eyes. A skeptic cannot trust anyone. A discerning soul can still love and believe, but knows where and how to place that trust. Discernment is the grace to love someone and still see their cracks, to forgive them without being drawn into their flaws. It is not a psychological skill, it is a gift born of deep communion with my spirit. As you walk closer with me, I will teach you the language of souls. You will not need words to know who truly belongs to me. You will perceive it in the atmosphere they carry and the quiet resonance around them. A person may say, "God be with you," yet their spirit is hollow. Another may say nothing, yet peace flows the moment they enter the room. This is how the spiritual realm operates. Light recognizes light. Truth responds to truth. Real love needs no display. It dispels darkness by simply existing. I know there were moments when you were deceived by charming words, by those who pretended to understand you but came only to drain you. You have blamed yourself for not seeing it sooner, for trusting too easily. But my child, stop condemning yourself. I allowed it not to wound you, but to awaken you. Some lessons cannot be taught by speech, only by experience. Each betrayal, each time you have seen deceit unmasked, has washed your spiritual eyes a little clearer. You have not lost, you have been refined into wisdom. Discernment is not given so you may judge others, but so you may keep your heart pure. It helps you know whom to love from afar, whom to keep near, whom to trust, and whom to entrust to me. When you walk in discernment, you will stop wasting your strength on harmful ties. Stop repeating cycles of hurt. Stop being led by emotion. You will learn to pause, to pray, and to wait. And as you wait, I will move. You do not need to argue to defend truth. Light never debates with darkness. Simply stand still and let me shine through you. Once you asked me, "Lord, how will I know what is true?" And I replied, "Look at where it leads you closer to me or farther away." That is the simplest yet deepest measure. If something makes you more loving, humble, forgiving, and peaceful, it is from me. If it leaves you bitter, proud, anxious, or afraid, it is not, no matter how good it appears. The enemy cannot produce peace. He only imitates brief excitement. True peace does not come from comfort, but from my presence. When you begin to walk in discernment, I will reveal more than you've ever seen. You will sense what others cannot sense. You will recognize falsehood, even when it wears the mask of kindness. This may make you feel lonely at times, for not everyone will see what you see, but do not fear. The solitude of the seeing soul is not punishment, it is consecration. The light in you is a flame I myself have kindled, and those who carry light will recognize one another. Like stars scattered across the night sky, they may be distant, but they belong to the same heavens. I have called you to live in the world, but not of it. I send you into the darkness to bring light, not to be dimmed by it. Discernment is the armor that keeps your soul pure amid the dust of life. When your eyes are enlightened, you will know when to speak and when to stay silent, when to move forward and when to remain still. Every action will become a prayer. Every word will become a seed. And I will cause those seeds to grow and bear fruit in their appointed season. Remember, this discernment is not a gift to display, but a grace to protect holiness. It does not distance you from others, it teaches you how to love them rightly. It does not make you cold, it makes you clear, tender, and wise. It does not weaken your faith, it anchors it in truth. And when you walk in this light, the world around you will separate into clarity, truth from imitation, light from shadow, blessing from snare. And when you see clearly, you will walk gently. For the one whose eyes are bright does not rush, they know I am leading the way. The soul that discerns does not strive, they know what is of me will stand firm. So guard these spiritual eyes, my child, for they are the gift I have given you, that you may stand, walk, and shine amid an age wrapped in disguise, my beloved child. When I opened your eyes to see, I also opened your ears to hear. For in this world there is not only one voice speaking. Many echoes blend together, many currents of sound pulling your heart in different directions. There is the voice of my spirit, the voice of your flesh, and the voice of the enemy. If you do not learn to discern between them, you will confuse my instructions with the impulses of emotion, the whisper of heaven with the clamor of the world. Therefore, my child, discernment does not dwell only in the eyes, it also resides in the ears of the Spirit. Remember this, my voice never comes in haste. I do not shout, I do not compete for attention. My voice is gentle yet carries authority. When I speak, your soul feels peace. When I warn, you are not afraid, you are enlightened. When I guide, you are not forced, you are led. I do not use pressure, I use light. I do not awaken through thunder, I awaken through breath. The enemy does the opposite. He speaks through urgency, through hurried whispers. In your mind, if you don't act now, you'll lose your chance. If you don't speak up, you'll be left behind. But my child, I am the God of order and peace, not of chaos and fear. Many times you have felt sudden impulses that seemed right, even spiritual. But hear me, not everything that seems reasonable is holy. The enemy knows how to wrap deceit in the cloth of logic. He knows how to use strong emotion to cloud judgment. Just as when Jesus was tempted in the wilderness, Satan quoted scripture, but twisted its meaning. My son answered with discernment, "Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God." Matthew 4:4. I am teaching you the same lesson. Do not react to every voice, measure it against my word. Anything not rooted in truth, no matter how beautiful, is still deception. I know there are times when you feel confused because the voice inside your mind sounds so much like mine. It speaks good things, urges noble actions, yet leaves you restless, anxious, and doubtful. Pay attention, I never leave confusion in my wake. When you are in my will, you feel clarity, stillness, and quiet strength. When another voice pulls you, you feel heavy, conflicted, and uncertain. Peace is my signature. Disturbance is the echo of another. Learn this sacred rhythm when something comes to you, an idea, an opportunity, a word. Pause. Do not react immediately. Let the first wave of emotion pass, then bring it before me. Ask, Lord, does this carry the fragrance of you? For everything from me carries the scent of light, truth, and love. Everything from darkness, no matter how sweet, smells faintly of pride, fear, or disorder. Do not be fooled by comfort. Not everything that feels pleasant is a blessing. Sometimes true grace arrives disguised as pruning, while temptation wears the mask of ease. I have given you the Spirit of truth. He is the one who helps you test every spirit. As it is written, dear friends, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. 1 John 4:1. This is not only about visible manifestations, but every influence, a person, a word, an emotion, a thought, even a vision. When you sense something, test it with these 3 questions. Does it cause you to love me more? Does it draw you closer to humility? Does it produce lasting peace? If the answer is no, then you have heard the wrong voice. I do not want you to live in fear of every sound, but to walk in awareness. Like a musician who knows each note so well that even a single discord is instantly recognized, you too will learn to discern in the Spirit. The closer you stay to me, the quicker you will recognize what does not belong to me. The nearer you stand to the light, the more easily you perceive even the faintest shadow. So, remain near me. Do not drift from our communion, for it is the birthplace of all discernment. There will be times you hear voices within echoes of your past, your failures, your fears. They whisper that you are not enough, that you have missed your chance, that you are no longer chosen. But pause, my child, and ask, does this sound like my Father? For I never call you by the name of shame. I never speak to you through guilt. I will never correct you with humiliation. When I discipline, I always leave hope. When I confront you, I always preserve your dignity. If a voice makes you feel condemned without repentance, it is not mine. If it makes you feel small without reminding you of grace, it is not from heaven. Let my word be your mirror. Anything reflected differently is false. Yes, discernment can feel exhausting at times, but do not mistake it for burden. Discernment is freedom. When you know my voice, you will stop wandering in confusion about my will. You will walk with calm assurance. That is when you will master the holy art of illuminated silence, understanding that not every question requires an immediate answer. Sometimes the greatest answer is the stillness of faith. When I am silent, it is not absence. It is training for you to live not by signs but by relationship. I am teaching you a spiritual skill. Few are willing to learn the art of listening with the soul. When you hear with the ear, you receive sound. When you hear with the soul, you perceive intention. I want you to hear me, even when I do not use words, in the breeze that brushes your face, in the light of dawn, in the stillness of night, in a scripture that suddenly burns within your heart. Then you will know that I have never stopped speaking. You were simply not yet tuned to my frequency. When you learn this, you will discover something miraculous. Every silence becomes a dialogue. Every waiting holds a promise. Every breath is evidence of me. You will no longer fear losing direction, for you will know my tone. You will not be manipulated by others, for you will know when I am not speaking through them. You will not be tossed about by 1,000 prophecies, for you will distinguish the resonance of heaven from the echo of man. And then you will live freely, not freedom to do as you please, but freedom to stand in this world without being shaped by it. My beloved child, now that your spiritual eyes are open, let me teach you one final lesson in this season. Do not fear the darkness. I know that in the past you trembled when you saw evil, when you heard disturbing voices, when you sensed heavy energies around you. You tried to escape, to shut your ears, to withdraw. But childlight was not created to flee from darkness. It was created to enter it and drive it away. When you truly abide in me, you need not fear what belongs to the dark, for the light within you is stronger than the darkness surrounding you. The enemy will try to convince you that you are fragile, that if you encounter evil, it will taint you. But I tell you, light cannot be defiled by darkness unless it chooses to extinguish itself. So walk forward with open eyes, not in fear, but in the royal authority of one who carries light. I did not teach you discernment to make you a judge, but a watchman. A watchman not only sees, but intercedes, shields, and stands where others will not. The world is crying out for souls like yours, those who see the darkness clearly yet stand strong without being consumed by it. When I opened your eyes, I also gave you the heart of an intercessor, a heart that stands between light and shadow, trembling not in terror nor pride, but burning with love and power. So rise, my child, and stand in your calling. For I have not only opened your eyes to see the battle, I have anointed your heart to shine in it. My beloved child, do you know this? My child, darkness is powerful only when no one lights a lamp. But when even a single candle is lit, the entire room changes. And I have placed that candle within you. Do not avoid the darkness, but do not descend into it either. Be present without becoming absorbed. Just as Jesus stood among sinners, he did not withdraw from them, but neither did he allow them to dim his light. The light within him was strong enough to shine and transform. I desire the same for you, that the light in you would work likewise. Do not be afraid when you see evil. Do not panic when you hear venomous words. Remember, if I allow you to see it, it is because I trust that you are strong enough to stand in that place and intercede. When you sense heavy energy, do not flee. Breathe deeply and say within your heart, "The light of God dwells in me." That is not merely a statement, it is a heavenly activation. The moment you speak it, my spirit will stir within you, and all darkness will retreat. For I am in you, and wherever I am, there can be no endless night. My child, understand this: mature discernment does not lead to fear, it leads to freedom. You will see much, hear much, know much, but none of it will steal your peace. You will perceive deception without becoming bitter. You will recognize falsehood without becoming angry. You will witness brokenness without falling into despair. For you will know that I am working. You will know that though the world trembles, my throne stands unshaken. The discernment I give you will not isolate you from people. It will teach you how to love rightly in the right place, in the right way, and in the right measure. You will know when to speak and when to be silent. You will know who needs to hear words and who only needs prayer. You will learn that love does not mean permission, it means boundaries shaped by grace. Some souls will come to you to pour out their pain, but I will teach you how to listen without carrying their burden. You were not created to bear every weight, but to be a conduit of healing. When you listen, listen with my spirit, not with your weary heart. When you show compassion, let it flow from me, not from your own emotion. For if compassion is not enlightened by my spirit, it becomes a snare that drains your strength. Remember this, even love must be discerned. True love does not indulge sin. It reaches for the soul. True love does not excuse. It restores. It is not blind. It is wise. And I am teaching you to love that way, to love with the light of understanding. Yet, my child, there is a subtle trial that often comes to those with awakened eyes, spiritual loneliness. Because you see what others do, not because you hear what others cannot. You may feel set apart, but hear me. This separation is the sign of calling. Those who are appointed as watchmen do not sleep as others do. They stay awake while the world slumbers. They stand when others sit. They see danger from afar, to protect many who never know they are being protected. You are among those souls, those I trust to warn, to intercede, to keep the flame alive when the winds grow strong. Do not seek understanding from the crowd, for the crowd cannot see what you see. But I see, and I understand, and that is enough. As with Elijah of old, there will be moments when you think you are alone, when it seems everyone else has turned away. Yet remember, I have reserved for myself 7,000 who have not bowed to Baal. 1 Kings 19:18. You are never truly alone. There are others in other places carrying the same light, fighting the same battles, though they may not know your name. And at the appointed time I will join these lights together until they form a new dawn upon the earth. Therefore do not fear the darkness. It is only the backdrop against which your light will shine more brightly. My child, I know there are moments when you grow weary, when your eyes have seen too much, your ears have heard too much, your heart feels heavy from knowing too much. But I tell you this, do not carry my burden, only co-labor with me. You were not called to bear the weight of the world, but to illuminate the portion I have given you. Keep your focus. Know which battles are yours and which are mine. When you try to save the whole world, you will burn out. But when you stand only where I place you, you will be strong and steadfast. I promise you, if you are faithful in small things, I will entrust you with greater ones. If you keep your heart pure in secret, I will show you breakthroughs in the open. But remember, discernment is not the destination. It is the pathway back to deeper, wiser love. For the goal of every gift is not power, but love itself. When you truly see, you will begin to understand. When you understand, you will forgive. And when you forgive, you will be free. This is the sacred cycle of light. Keep your eyes bright, but keep your heart soft. Do not let knowledge make you proud, nor discernment make you closed. Let everything you perceive lead you to compassion. For only when your heart can still weep, your light remains pure. Only when you can still love amid understanding, you become like me. I have not called you to see everything, but to see through love. When you see through my light, you will fear nothing, for you will know that everything revealed is revealed only so that it may be healed. My child, when my light begins to fade in your eyes, it is not because I have withdrawn, but because I am teaching you to see in a different way. I want you to know that there is a kind of light visible only through faith, a light that only those who have walked through the long night can perceive. It is in the darkness that I perform the most wondrous work, one that cannot be understood by reason. You think darkness is where life ends, but I tell you the truth. Darkness is where life begins. Just as a seed must hide in the soil before it can rise toward the sun, so must your soul pass through seasons of stillness before it blossoms. Without hiddenness there is no growth. Without night there is no dawn. Without testing there is no true strength. The souls I use most deeply are those who have walked through the deepest night. I know you are weary. I know you have asked again and again, Lord, why do you not speak? But my child, when you cannot hear my voice, it does not mean I am silent. It means I am whispering in another way. Grace does not always speak through words, but through invisible guidance. Sometimes it is a tear you cannot explain, a breath of peace in chaos, a still moment that arrives unannounced. These are my words to you. I am here. Darkness is not merely a trial, it is the womb of rebirth. In it, every illusion is stripped away. All that you relied upon is taken until one thing remains, me. When you have no strength left to hold on, you learn how to be held. When you lose confidence in yourself, you discover how to trust in me. When everything else is gone, you realize the greatest treasure you have is my presence within you. I do not lead you into darkness to frighten you, but to fortify you, not with the strength of the conqueror, but with the strength of the surrendered, not with the pride of one who stands, but the wisdom of one who kneels. You cannot stand firm upon the mountain until you have learned to kneel in the valley. The tears you shed today are seeds for tomorrow's harvest. And when you endure the night and still keep faith, you are laying a foundation that cannot be shaken. Light and darkness both belong to me. I am the one who said, "Let there be light," and light came forth. But I am also the one who formed the night that you might learn to rest and to trust when you cannot see. The night is not my absence. It is another expression of me, quiet, deep, and delicate. If you listen closely, you will hear the rhythm of my heart beating within the dark. But my child, to hear it, you must learn the art of silence. Silence is not emptiness. It is where my voice becomes clearest. When you stop speaking, stop defending, stop controlling, you will begin to hear me in the movement of the wind, in the cadence of your breath, in the smallest things you once overlooked. I am still speaking only now in a language understood only by the still. Do you remember Elijah in the cave? I did not appear to him in the storm, the earthquake, or the fire, but in the gentle whisper that followed. That is the sound of refinement. The storm represents upheaval. The fire represents trial. The earthquake represents the shaking of life. But when all of that passes, what remains is stillness. And in that stillness, Elijah met me. So it shall be with you. After all the shaking, you will meet me not in noise, but in a peace beyond words. You are walking through what many call the dark night of the soul, a season without song, without light, only silence and waiting. But do not fear, for this is a sacred night. It has come not to destroy you, but to purify your faith, to refine it into a faith that needs no proof, no feeling, no condition. Such faith is a gem heaven treasures. And when you emerge from this night, you will carry a light that can never be extinguished, a light the world cannot give and cannot take away. I know there are moments when you want to give up, when you think you have failed, when you long to return to the ease of what once was. But I say to you, do not go back. Keep walking, even one trembling step at a time. Every step you take in the dark is a declaration that you still believe, and that belief moves heaven. Those small, faltering steps are the most powerful songs you could ever offer me. I am not training you for the present, but for eternity. I am teaching you to live not by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from my mouth. I am teaching you to discern truth from falsehood, light from imitation. Not every brightness comes from me, and not every night is to be feared. Sometimes I cover you with the shadow of my wings to shield you from what you are not yet ready to face. My darkness is not punishment, it is protection. When you understand this, fear will lose its grip. You will rest in the night as a child rests in its father's arms, though the storm rages outside. You will not need to see the future, because you will know I hold it. You will not need answers, because you will know that I am the answer. You will not need to understand why, because you will trust that every path I lead you on ends in light. And one day, when you look back, you will see that the night took nothing from you. It only removed what you no longer needed, the things that obscured me. You will realize that in your deepest darkness I planted within you a new light, the light of understanding, of faith, of love, purified of all fear. You will know that everything I allowed had a purpose, that the night was not a full stop but a comma in the symphony of grace. I am calling you to move beyond your fear of the dark and behold the glory hidden within it. Do not try to escape the night, let me turn it into a meeting place. Let your tears become rivers that cleanse the soul. Let your unanswered questions become the bridge that carries you into trust. What I am building in you is not comfort but a steadfast heart. And when you finally surrender, when you whisper, though the night is deep, I still believe you are the light, the night will begin to fade. For I do not need to change your circumstances to prove my love. I only need to change your heart so that you may see my love was never lost. And when the dawn comes, you will not merely say, the Lord was with me in the night, but the Lord was the night of love, night of birth, night of grace. My beloved child, I am leading you into a season of fire, not a fire of destruction, but a fire of rebirth. Do not fear, my child, for this fire is mine, not the world's. It does not come to harm you, but to remove everything that no longer serves the light within you. I do not burn to destroy you, I burn to refine you. For only my fire can melt away what tears or willpower cannot cleanse. I know that when the fire touches you, it hurts. You feel as though everything you once leaned on is dissolving, dreams, collapsing relationships, fracturing the familiar, slipping from your grasp. You gasp, crying, Lord, why is everything burning? But listen closely. My child, I burn not to punish but to renew. Just as the goldsmith places precious metal into the furnace, I too place you in the fire of grace. Pure gold does not fear fire, only the impurities within it tremble. When the flames rise, your value is not lost, it is being revealed. Do you remember what I said in Isaiah 4:8-10? I have refined you, though not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction. That is my love. Love that is not weak, indulgent, or sentimental, but strong and holy. I love you too much to let you live wounded, fearful, or bound to habits that drain your soul. I know the places you avoid. I know the pain you hide beneath your smile. I know the words you never say in the quiet of the night. And I say to you now, it is time for my fire to touch them. My fire is an instrument of mercy. It does not flow from anger, but from compassion. For there are wounds that can only be healed when they are burned to the root. I do not patch decay, I rebuild from the ground up. That is why I allow shaking, breaking, and sudden change. You think you are losing, but you are being freed. The blacksmith knows that before a sword can be used, it must pass through fire, hammer, and water. I am doing the same with you, shaping your soul to fit my hand, so that when your time comes, you will strike the darkness without breaking. You will see the fire touch every part of your life. It will reach the places you thought were safe, the relationships you assumed would last, the dreams you believed were mine. I will lead them through the fire, not to destroy them, but to reveal their true nature. What is of me will endure, what is not will fade. Do not cling to what my fire removes, for if I burn it away, it is because I have something better to replace it. Like a gardener pruning dead branches so that new life may flow, I am redirecting your energy from what is dying to what is alive. I do not want you wasting strength preserving what I have already allowed to pass. I want you to learn to let me renew, rather than trying to rescue what I have chosen to release. I know you are weary, for this process is not easy. You feel as though you are standing in a storm stripped of every anchor. But look closely. I am still there in the fire. Just as with the 3 friends of Daniel, the flames cannot consume you because a 4th walks beside you. That 4th is me. When you are in the furnace, I am not watching from a distance. I am inside it with you. I do not ask you to endure alone. I breathe beside you through every flame. When you look around, you may see only smoke, but if you look through the eyes of the Spirit, you will see my hand holding yours. I am teaching you what only souls who have burned can understand. My fire does not destroy, it reveals. It does not consume the soul, it consumes the chains. Every time something in you breaks, something new is being born. Just as the seed must split before it sprouts, your soul must crack open before it blossoms into a new season. You may not yet understand, but I am rebuilding you from within. I am simplifying your life to amplify your spirit. I am teaching you to live with depth instead of noise, to act with clarity instead of striving to move with peace instead of fear. You once sought meaning in outcomes, but now I am teaching you to find meaning in the process. You thought fire came to take away, but you will see it came to give back, to return you to the original design I intended before fear, pain, and sin obscured it. In the coming days, unexpected things may unfold. A relationship ends, a door closes, a plan halts. Do not panic. None of it is random. I am refining not only your actions, but your motives. I am burning away ambition disguised as ministry and self-will hidden behind calling. For I do not want you to merely work for me. I want you to become like me. Yes, the fire makes you weep. But remember, your tears do not extinguish my fire. They purify it. Every tear that falls is a prayer I receive. And every time you endure without complaint, every time you choose to believe without seeing, I pour new oil into your soul, the oil of perseverance, of insight, of heavenly strength. You will not be the same after this season. When the fire passes, you will be lighter, brighter, deeper. You will see the world through eyes cleansed by flame, and you will understand everything I removed was shadow, and everything I left was real. The fire does not steal you. It returns you to yourself, to the image I shaped before the beginning, before fear, before pain, before sin. And when you emerge, the world will not see what was burned away. It will see what was reborn, the reflection of my glory, alive within you. My beloved child, when the fire of mine begins to burn within your soul, I want you to understand a sacred mystery. Every trial carries within it a divine promise. No pain is permitted to enter your life without purpose. No flame is kindled by my hand without a hidden reason. Every spark, every shaking, every loss is woven with the perfect precision of heaven. I do not allow you to suffer so I may test your strength. I place you in the fire because I already know you will not be consumed. For what has been formed by my hand cannot be destroyed by flame. Do you know why gold must enter the furnace? Because only in the fire do the impurities rise to the surface and lose their power to hide. So it is with your soul. When I lead you into the refining process, the unseen things within you begin to surface: pride disguised as confidence, fear masked as wisdom, control mistaken for faith. I do not expose these to shame you, but to free you, because whatever is brought into the light loses its dominion over you. So do not be afraid when weakness appears in the midst of your journey. Rejoice, for it means I am working deeply within you, breaking the chains you didn't know still bound your heart. Fire is also where I teach you to see through the eyes of heaven. When you stand in the midst of pain, you see loss, but I see creation. You see dreams shattered. I see doors opening. You see ashes. I see fertile ground prepared for new seed. Therefore, do not judge what I am doing while the fire still burns, for only when the smoke clears will you behold the masterpiece I am crafting. In this season, I am teaching you the art of seeing by faith, not through the lens of your wounds. Many let suffering harden their hearts, but I use suffering to make you softer, deeper, and wiser. My fire does not come to close you, but to open you. Not to frighten, but to show you that when you allow me to touch your pain, it ceases to be a wound. It becomes a window through which light enters. Every tear you have shed in despair will become oil to anoint another soul. My child, I never let brokenness end in loss. In my kingdom, every breaking is the beginning of something new. I have seen your nights of prayer without answers, your silent tears in the dark as you whispered, "Where are you?" You thought I was silent, but even as you cried, I was working. The potter does not speak while shaping the clay, for his hands are busy forming. My silence is not absence, it is the sound of creation. You cannot hear both the hammer and the whisper at once. Let me work in silence, and when the time is right, I will speak softly yet powerfully. My child, come forth. I have seen how you endured, how you remained still when misunderstood, how you chose faith when logic failed, how you forgave when bitterness would have been easier. You thought no one noticed, but I saw it all. Not one tear falls without being recorded in my book. Not one sigh is wasted in the wind. Every time you choose love over resentment, your faith grows brighter. Every time you choose trust without understanding, your soul expands. I am transforming your faith from borrowed to genuine, from faith that needs a miracle to faith that knows I am the miracle. Do you see, my child? It is in the fire that my chosen ones shine brightest. Moses walked through the wilderness 40 years to learn that my voice is not always in thunder, but in the gentle breeze. Joseph endured betrayal and prison to learn that true glory is not found on the throne, but in faithfulness. David fled into caves to discover that anointing is not a crown, but a surrendered heart. And you, beloved one, walk the same sacred path. I am making you one who can stand amid the shaking without fear, love amid the darkness without dimming, and live among ruins without losing hope. When you emerge from the fire, you will find yourself changed. Your voice will carry the weight of heaven, your eyes the gentleness of one who has been forgiven. The scars in your soul will no longer be signs of pain, but testimonies of my power. Others will look at you and say, "There is something different about this one," and you will know it is not because you are strong, but because I have become visible through you. I am performing a quiet miracle, turning your pain into anointing. What you endure is not only for you, but for those who will follow. I am teaching you to comfort others with the same comfort you have received. When you embrace the broken, they will not just hear your words, they will feel me through your spirit. Only those who have burned in the fire know how to warm cold souls. Only those who have fallen and risen can lift others from the pit. Only those who have lost everything and still believed in me can rekindle hope in the hopeless. This is the secret of glory. Every bearer of light has walked through flame. Light is not bestowed, it is born in suffering, and fire is its cradle. I did not call you to an easy life. I called you to be a torch in the world, and a torch can only shine when its heart has been soaked in the oil of trial. So do not despair while the fire still burns. Remember, my flame knows exactly when to stop. I never let it burn too long, nor do I quench it too soon. When the gold is pure, I withdraw it. When your soul is radiant, I will call you forth. Then you will carry not only light, but warmth. People will come to you not because you know much, but because you have walked through the fire and still believe. They will come just to witness that hope still lives. The fire of mine does not only teach you to live, it teaches you to love. Not the easy kind of love, but love that costs something. Love born from wounds that have been healed. When you love with this love, you will love as I do, with no demand, no fear of rejection, no change, even when betrayed. When such love grows within you, you will understand why I say, my fire is love, and my love is fire. It does not merely melt, it revives. It does not simply destroy, it recreates. It does not just burn, it illuminates. So, my beloved child, let the fire finish its work. Stand still in my hands, where the flame is no longer a threat but the breath of renewal. And when the storm subsides and the ashes grow cool, you will see yourself not in ruin, but in the pure light of a soul reborn. For right there in the heart of the fire, I have given you a new name, my beloved child. When the fire has passed, when the smoke is cleared, and the ashes lie still, I want you to pause and listen to the rhythm of your own breath. Do you hear it? It is not merely your heartbeat, it is the pulse of new life, the rhythm of a soul that has passed through death and been reborn. You are no longer who you once were. Everything that was burned away was never loss. It was liberation, returning you to the pure form I designed for you from the beginning of time. You have walked through the fire, and now you carry the fragrance of resurrection, a scent that cannot be imitated, cannot be manufactured, cannot be faked, for it belongs only to those who have burned in the flame of my presence. Understand this: when the fire dies, it is not the end. It is the beginning of a new era within your soul. When gold is taken out of the furnace, it is never the same. It carries within it a brilliance and endurance nothing on earth can destroy. So it is with you, my child. After passing through the flame, your spirit has become resilient, humble, wise, and strong in ways you never imagined. What once terrified you now holds no power. What once caused you to doubt now anchors your faith. What once led you astray now becomes the wisdom you will use to guide others. For true victory is not avoiding the fire, it is emerging from it still ablaze with light. I have placed within you a new strength, the strength of restoration. You are no longer confined by your own limitations, for the fire has consumed the chains that once bound you. I no longer see fear in you, for the fire has taught you that I am always with you in the midst of trial. I no longer see weakness, for the fire has forged courage. I no longer see doubt, for the fire has shown you that faith is not the absence of suffering, but standing firm within it, with eyes fixed on me. From now on, you will not pray to be rescued from the fire, but to be steadfast within it. For you have learned that true strength is not found in escaping the storm, but in standing still within it. My child, I did not choose you merely to survive the fire. I chose you to carry it. The flame within you is no longer only for your path. It is a beacon for others wandering in the night. You are no longer just refined, you are commissioned. Your experience will become living testimony to the world that grace is stronger than ashes, love greater than pain, and light deeper than darkness. You need not prove this with words, for your very life will bear witness. Every step you take, every word you speak, every glance you give will release a power that cannot be fabricated, the power of one who has met me in the fire. Remember this: those who have walked through fire carry a special kind of authority, the authority of authenticity. People may debate ideas, but they cannot argue with a witness. When you tell your story, how I kept you, how I carried you, they will not merely hear, they will feel. Something in you, the light born from suffering, will reach them in the deepest part of their being. This is how I will use you, not through eloquence, but through presence. When you show up, the atmosphere will shift. When you pray, the ground will tremble. When you stand, the world will know that I still move. Yet, my beloved, never forget the flame must be fueled by the oil of humility. Do not let your light become a means to glorify yourself. The fire I give is not to exalt you, but to reveal me through you. If you begin to use this fire to prove your worth, it will fade. But if you remain humble, I will keep it burning forever. Remember, fire lives only where there is oil, and oil is produced through brokenness. Every act of surrender releases more oil. Every time you love instead of defending yourself, oil flows. Every time you forgive, every time you yield your will, every time you stay silent, so I may speak, the oil is poured out anew, and that oil will keep your flame alive through every season. I am not only rewriting your story, I am raising a generation of fire. Those like you who have passed through trial and emerged in light will become the lampstands of a new age. The world is desperate for light, and I am kindling it in unexpected places, not in palaces, but in deserts. Not in the noise, but in the stillness. Not among the celebrated, but among the forgotten. And you are one of them. I am calling you to rise, not to wage war, but to ignite. The darkness will not withstand the brightness of the refined. The enemy will tremble when you enter a room, not because of your words, but because your soul carries the fragrance of my presence. Your prayers will shatter chains, not because they are loud, but because they were born in fire. When you lay your hands on others, I will lay mine through you. When you speak, I will speak through your lips. When you breathe, your breath will carry the life of my spirit. For now you no longer live for yourself. You live as a vessel of heaven, melted, reshaped, filled, and sent. Do not forget those who are refined are never identical. Every flame bears its own hue. Every soul reflects a facet of my light. Do not compare your glow to another's. Each has a purpose, a field, a voice. Your task is simple: keep your flame burning. Let the world's storms rage. You will burn on. As you tend your flame, it will spread not by striving, but simply by being. When you live true, your light will travel farther than your reach, touching souls you will never meet. I declare to you, the time of resurrection has come. Rise from the ashes. Shake off the dust of the past. Lift your head and walk in a new light. You are no longer one who was burned. You are one who carries fire. Do not look back, for what is behind has fulfilled its purpose. Look forward, where I open the gates of glory before you. What you lost, I will return in greater form. What you thought had ended, I will resurrect in perfection. For I am the resurrected one, and I am at work for you, not only restoring but recreating. Now, my beloved child, let peace fill your heart. Do not fear when the next fire comes, for you have learned that the flame is no longer your enemy. Every season of fire is a higher level of transformation. Every blaze brings you closer to my likeness. And when the world looks upon you, they will no longer see one who was burned, but the light of the one who lives again within you. My beloved child, breathe deeply now, for this breath is no longer what it once was. It carries within it new life, new strength, and new light. You have passed through the fire, and the fire has passed through you. The two have become one, no longer separate but intertwined. You are not merely a survivor of the flame, you are one who now carries its very essence. Everything that once imprisoned you, every chain that once bound your soul, every fear that kept you from stepping forward, has been consumed in the radiance of my glory. Now you stand among the ashes, not as a defeated one, but as a living testimony of eternal love, the love that turns ruin into rebirth, sorrow into strength, and loss into promise. I told you that fire does not come to destroy, but to reveal. Now you see it more clearly than ever. In the blaze you thought I was taking everything away, but in truth I was removing the layers that hid the light within you. When gold emerges from the furnace, it needs no paint or plating to shine, for brilliance is its nature. So it is with you. You no longer need to strive to prove your worth, for the fire has already proved it. It has burned away all that was false, and left within your soul a purity that nothing can steal. From this moment on, you no longer seek validation from others, for I, myself, have sealed you with my mark. When I led you through the fire, I did not merely intend to rescue you, I intended to make you a bearer of fire. Everything you have learned, felt, and endured was never in vain. It has become oil, fuel, and strength to warm the cold souls around you. You know what loneliness feels like, so you will comfort the lonely. You know the ache of wounding, so you will heal the broken. You know the sting of loss, so you will carry hope to the hopeless. The fire has transformed you from the comforted into the comforter, from the redeemed into the one sent to redeem. That is why I call this flame the fire of resurrection, because it does not end in loss but in commissioning. My child, I know you still tremble at times. I know you sometimes look back at the ashes and wonder if you are strong enough to begin again. But hear me, you do not need to begin again, for you have already been made new. All you must do is move forward, not from the old foundation, but from the new one I have set within you. Your past is no longer a burden, it is a witness. Your scars are no longer shame, they are testimony. They no longer remind you of pain, but of victory. Look back and you will see every time you fell, I was there. Every time you wept, I gathered your tears. Every time you wanted to quit, I lifted you. What once seemed meaningless has been woven into the sacred fabric of grace, the garment you now wear as the robe of one refined by fire. I did not call you out of the flame to return as you were, but to live as one transformed. The fire has changed your language now. Every word you speak carries the weight of heaven. It has deepened your gaze now. Every look carries the gentleness of my heart. It has made your spirit attentive now. You have become a refuge for weary souls. And it has taught you that true power is not in shouting, but in stillness filled with presence. When you stand before others, you no longer carry just your body. You carry the fragrance of the one who walked with you through the fire. The world will recognize me through you, not in noise, but in radiant peace. I now place in your hands a torch not for yourself, but to pass on. This torch bears the name life. It can never be extinguished, for it is sustained by the oil of endurance and the breath of the Spirit. As you carry it, you need not strive to shine, simply live, and the light will flow. When you pray, the flame will spread to those beside you. When you speak, it will warm their hearts. When you are silent, it will still burn, because it depends not on sound, but on presence. This is the power of those who have walked through fire and returned not just with breath, but with mission. But remember, my beloved, the flame cannot endure without the oil of humility. Do not think that refinement means you can never fall. Do not let your own light draw you away from mine. Stay near me as a candle stays near its source of fire. Each day let me pour oil into you, the oil of grace, of mercy, of obedience. Every act of surrender makes you brighter. Every choice to love rather than retaliate makes your flame stronger. Every moment of forgiveness adds new strength. Keep your heart soft, for only in softness can the light shine far. I see something magnificent taking root within your soul. This fire will not end with you. It will ignite generations. You are the seed of a new movement, a people of flame souls, who love with love tested by fire, who believe with faith cleansed by tears, who hope with eyes that have seen ashes, yet still look toward dawn. I will cause the fire within you to reach lands that have never known light, to touch hearts that thought they were forgotten. You will not need to find them. I will bring them to you, for light always attracts the dark. And when they come, my child, you need only do one thing: burn. So fear the fire no more. It is no longer your enemy, but your companion. Each time I kindle a new flame within you, it is not punishment, but invitation, a call to higher glory. Every time you feel the heat, remember that gold is being refined again. Every time you feel alone, know that I am near. Every time you feel weary, rest in my arms, for I am the cool wind within the furnace, the gentle breath among the ashes, the dawn after the night of flame. Now rise. Step out from the ashes with eyes alight, a tender heart, and hands ready to give. Bring this fire to the places no one dares to go. Tell the world that there is no night so long that light cannot reach, no pain so deep that love cannot heal. You are living proof that I still move, still heal, still resurrect. Live as a lamp that never goes out, for it is not lit by your strength but by my breath. And when the world looks at you, they will know, here is one who has walked through the fire and still carries the fragrance of heaven. They will know that the one who was with you in the furnace is also with them at night. They will know that fire cannot consume what was made in light. And then you will understand it was the fire that shaped you, and it is I, the one who kindled it, who will keep it burning forever. My beloved child, look deeply within yourself, pause, take a long, steady breath, and listen to the rhythm of your heart. It no longer beats with fear or weariness, it beats with new life, the pulse of a kingdom being formed within you. Can you feel it, my child? Something has changed forever. It is not a fleeting emotion or a passing spiritual thrill. It is a transformation rooted in the very core of your being, where your soul and my spirit have become one. You no longer seek me in distant mountains or temples, for my kingdom is no longer out there, it is within you. As it is written, the kingdom of God is within you. Luke 1:7-1. Yes, that word is now fulfilled in you, not as theory, but as the living reality of a reborn soul. You once believed that my presence appeared only in the deep hours of prayer, in the fire of worship gatherings, or through miracles and wonders. But now I am showing you I am not far from your daily life. I am in every breath, every quiet moment, every small decision. When you love with true love, when you forgive, though no one sees, when you choose patience over resentment, then you are moving in my kingdom. This kingdom is not built on rituals or authority, but on essence, where love is the law, truth is the language, and grace is the very air you breathe. When you awaken to this, you are no longer governed by the old order of the world. You begin to live in another reality, the reality of heaven made visible on earth through your soul. Look back on your journey. Every storm, every wound, every trial was not to test you, but to prepare you for this very moment when you realize you were not merely saved from darkness, but created to carry light. You are the place I have chosen to place my throne. Where I dwell becomes holy. And now as I dwell in you, you have become a living temple, the resting place of my glory, the home of a light that will never fade. Understand this, no darkness outside can ever extinguish the light within that I have kindled. This kingdom does not depend on circumstances, emotion, or time. It is unshakable, eternal, the meeting place between your spirit and mine. It is time for you to live no longer as a beggar, but as an heir. Not with pride, but with the deep awareness of your true origin. You no longer need to strive to be loved, for you were born of love. You no longer need to seek approval, for you are sealed by grace. You no longer have to prove your worth, for your value does not come from success or failure, but from my indwelling presence. You were made to reign, but not as the world reigns, not through dominance or fame, but through surrender and compassion. You reign by enthroning me in your heart. You conquer not with sword or might, but through stillness, radiant with light. You influence not with shouts, but with presence that makes darkness retreat. Now I want you to understand this deeply. My kingdom within you is not just to behold, it is to live out. Let that light pour into every action, every choice, every word. When you forgive, you open the gates of heaven. When you love the undeserving, you set my throne upon the earth. When you give thanks amid hardship, you disarm the powers of darkness with the brightness of faith. This is the strategy of my kingdom: to triumph through love, to rule through humility, to wage war through peace. Do you remember Joseph, sold as a slave, falsely accused, imprisoned, and yet never for a moment was I absent? Even in the deepest dungeon, my kingdom was at work within him, silent but unstoppable. And in the appointed time, that hidden light burst forth, turning a prisoner into a ruler. So it is with you, my child. Do not despise the quiet seasons. Do not dismiss the days that seem uneventful. It is in those very days that my kingdom grows deeper, silently but surely, like a seed splitting open beneath the soil. One day, when I call you forth, you will see every silence had a purpose. Every delay was a design. Every tear was water for the roots of my kingdom in you. My beloved, this kingdom is not a distant dream. It is a living reality. When you smile through tears, when you keep your heart pure amidst temptation, when you love even after betrayal, that is when my throne rises within you. Guard this sacred place, for it is holy ground. Do not let the noise of the world drown my whisper. Do not let fear make you forget that within you dwells one far stronger than the shadows outside. I do not speak through chaos, but through hearts that know how to be still. As Elijah heard me, not in the wind or the quake, but in a gentle whisper, 1 Kings 19:1-2. So it is in your quiet trust that the kingdom is born, nourished, and revealed. This kingdom grows not by striving, but by surrender. The more you yield, the freer you become. The lower you bow, the higher you rise. The more you let me lead, the more you walk in true authority. This is the paradox of heaven. Whoever clings loses, but whoever gives receives. Whoever controls tires, but whoever trusts walks in peace. Let your heart become my throne, and let me reign. Then no power can touch you, for you no longer live by self, but by the one who lives within you. My kingdom is not a fantasy. It is the new rhythm of life flowing through you. When you awaken, I am living through you. When you pray, I am speaking through you. When you love, I am moving through you. You need not chase after miracles, for you are the miracle. You need not wait for light, for you are the light I have set upon the earth. Remember, my throne is not built in palaces, but in hearts that know how to love. And now that heart is yours. My beloved child, when my kingdom begins to move within you, its first sign is not radiant power or dazzling miracles, it is peace. True peace is not the quiet of circumstance, but the stillness of the soul that knows even in the midst of the storm that I am still on the throne. Many believe my kingdom is revealed through victories, achievements, and outward greatness. But I tell you, the true kingdom is recognized by a peace the world cannot give and cannot take away. This peace does not appear when all is resolved. It appears when the soul learns that everything rests in my hands. When you truly know that nothing happens outside, my authority, peace, ceases to be something you seek. It becomes the atmosphere you live in. Peace is the throne I establish within your heart. There I reign. When peace is lost, that throne trembles. But when your heart remains calm and trusts, the throne stands firm, and the kingdom within you is strengthened. Know this, no enemy fears your shout as much as your stillness. That stillness proclaims that you believe that you are no longer ruled by chaos, and that I am your Lord in both the darkness of night and the brilliance of day. Just as Jesus calmed the storm with a single word, not to display his might, but because he lived within the order of the kingdom of peace, so the winds and waves obeyed him, because there were no winds or waves within him. My child, you too are called to enter this same state, where nothing external can disturb what I have made still within you. Peace is not the reward of endurance, it is the fruit of intimacy with me. The closer you draw to me, the less the noise of the world can shake you. When you begin to see through my eyes, you will understand that even chaos is woven by my hands into good. Every upheaval, every loss, every delay serves a purpose in my eternal design. My peace does not promise you will never be tested. It promises you will never be alone in the test. Peace does not remove the battle, it strengthens you in it. Peace does not hide your tears, it keeps you from drowning in them. Peace does not silence the world, but it helps you hear my whisper through the noise. There will be moments when you walk through valleys and everything seems stripped from your grasp. Plans collapse, trust is betrayed, doors you thought secure suddenly close. In such moments, your soul will want to resist, to question, to take control. But it is precisely there that I will teach you the greatest secret of my kingdom. The throne of peace is built upon surrender. When you stop striving to fix everything, when you stop proving yourself, when you open your hands and say, "Your will be done," the throne of peace is raised. No power can overthrow that throne, for it is guarded by faith and humility. I do not dwell among restless hearts. I come to those who are still. Just as a river can mirror the sky only when its waters are calm, so your heart can only reflect me when it ceases to rage. Let me quiet you, for I am your peace, as Scripture says. When you sit still, not in despair, but in trust, you will feel a power begin to flow within you, silent yet strong, the power of my presence. My presence needs no proof, no explanation, no defense. It only needs to be believed, received, and protected. When you guard this peace, you are protecting my throne within your heart. I see that sometimes you mistake peace for weakness. You fear that if you stay silent, others will take advantage. If you don't fight back, you will be dismissed. But peace is not silence born of fear. It is quiet born of knowing whom you belong to. Peace is not escape. It is strength shaped by grace. The enemy trembles not before the loud, but before the calm soul filled with authority. Jesus did not argue when he was accused, nor defend himself when insulted, because he knew his kingdom was not of this world. Likewise, you need not grasp for position, for your position in me is already secure. When you stand firm in peace, you are walking in true power. Peace is the unspoken proclamation to heaven and earth that you trust me enough not to panic. When you walk in peace, you are partnering with heaven itself. You set angels in motion, you open doors, you release the flow of my power. But when you let anxiety rule, you bind the hands of angels. For I cannot move in fear, I move through faith. Faith and peace beat together like two chambers of the same heart. There is no true faith without peace, and no true peace without complete trust in me. So learn to guard your peace as you would guard your greatest treasure. Do not let careless words steal it. Do not let bad news shake it. Do not let old memories drag you away from the present moment. Learn to say no to chaos. Choose stillness over argument. Choose listening over reaction. Choose prayer over panic. In doing so, you are defending the throne I have built within you. Do not worry if others fail to understand they were not called to. They still live in the kingdom of anxiety, while you have been invited into the kingdom of peace. Live differently, not to prove, but to testify. There are battles I will not call you to fight, but to sit still through. Not every drumbeat of war comes from heaven. Some battles exist only to rob you of peace. And when you lose your peace, you lose your ability to hear my voice. That is the enemy's true tactic. But when you remain calm, the enemy becomes powerless, for peace is a ring of fire around your soul. When peace lives in you, fear cannot touch you. Therefore, let peace become your habit, not your moment. Begin each day not with plans, but with stillness. Let your heart bathe in the breath of my spirit before it meets the world. Let me be your first rhythm in the morning and your final word at night. When my peace fills your heart, you will no longer need to seek heaven, for heaven will flow through you. Those who come near you will feel something different, not tension, not argument, but peace rising like incense in the temple. The throne of peace is not built from jewels or gold, but from faith, surrender, and love. When you keep your heart at peace in the storm, you offer me a sacrifice more precious than any song or ceremony. For when you choose to believe, though you cannot see, when you choose stillness, though everything is breaking, when you choose to smile, though your tears remain, that is when I see the image of my Son in you, and that is when the kingdom within you shines its brightest. My beloved child, when my kingdom has been established in you as a throne of peace, it is time for you to step into a deeper dimension, the realm of divine authority. I do not entrust authority to souls who have not yet known peace, for true authority cannot operate in fear or haste. It is born only in those who have become still, who have learned to trust, and who have surrendered. The authority of heaven does not flow from loud words, long prayers, or forceful acts. It flows from union with me, the source of all power. When your soul beats in rhythm with mine, your words become my words, and your very presence becomes evidence that heaven is moving upon the earth. Remember, authority is not a crown to wear, but a burden to carry with humility. It does not elevate you above others, it bends you lower to serve them. True authority never needs to assert itself, for it is confirmed by my presence within you. When Jesus stood before Lazarus's tomb, he did not shout, repeat, or plead. He simply said, "Lazarus, come forth," and that word shook the grave, because he spoke from a place of perfect unity with the Father. So too, my child, when you live in oneness with me, every word you speak, even the smallest prayer, carries the vibration of heaven itself. Authority cannot be imitated. It is not born from memorized prayers, borrowed phrases, or the imitation of others. Authority is born from being with me. When Moses descended from the mountain, his face shone not because he tried to shine, but because he had been in the glory of my presence. He didn't need to announce that he had met with me. The light upon him spoke for itself. Likewise, your authority needs no advertisement. When you enter a room, darkness will retreat on its own. Light never argues, it only appears. And when you dwell in me, you carry the power to heal, to release, to transform, not because of what you do, but because of what I am doing through you. Be careful, for authority without love becomes domination, and authority without humility becomes pride. I do not give you power to prove yourself, but to restore others, not to control, but to serve. Heavenly authority is birthed in the hearts of those who kneel. When you wash another's feet in kindness, you wield a power greater than any earthly throne. When you forgive the one who wronged you, you are moving in a strength greater than armies. When you choose love over argument, you rule with the scepter of light. True power does not need to conquer others, it conquers the self. There will be those who misunderstand this authority. They will think it must look grand and commanding. They will imagine that power forces others to bow, when in truth, my authority lifts others to stand. They think those in power give orders, but in my kingdom the powerful lead through service. Jesus knelt to wash his disciples' feet, not because he was weak, but because he was so strong that he did not need to prove it. When you understand this, you will see that authority is not something worn. It is something that flows naturally from a soul united with me. True authority is also unshaken by opposition. When you truly know you are sent, rejection no longer frightens you. When you recognize my voice, you no longer crave the approval of men. Authority allows you to stand steady amid storms, not because you are strong, but because you are rooted in truth. You need not prove, argue, or defend yourself. Your steadfastness itself testifies to the kingdom you belong to. Like Daniel in the lion's den, you need not shout or strive. Your quiet confidence will silence every roaring mouth. My child, authority will not distance you, it will make you a refuge. The broken will find safety in your light. The lost will find direction in your words, because those words will come from the place where you and I have met. Authority does not depend on volume, but on spiritual weight. One prayer spoken from a pure heart carries more power than 1,000 shouted without love. When you speak in alignment with me, heaven moves. Angels are dispatched. Darkness withdraws, not because of noise, but because you speak with the voice of the Creator. You must learn to preserve this authority through continual surrender. Do not think that because I have once used you mightily, you can continue apart from me. Power is never a possession. It is a current that flows only through connection. Each day return to me. Let my breath renew you. Let my light refine your motives. The purer your heart, the deeper your authority. The more you choose love over resentment, the wider your influence. The more you choose stillness over debate, the clearer your strength will shine. Authority in my kingdom also means responsibility. You are not only sent, you are a representation of me. Every action, every word, every expression reflects heaven to those around you. Live carefully, not out of fear, but out of reverence. Remember, you do not represent yourself, but the one who redeemed you. Let others see in you my kindness, my grace, my truth. Never use authority to wound or condemn, for my authority always restores it, never destroys. Do you see now, my child? True authority does not weigh you down, it makes you light, for it does not depend on your strength but on mine. You are the channel, the bridge between heaven and earth. When you let me flow, you will no longer strive. Power will move through you like a river through the soil. Do not fear running dry, for this source never ceases. Authority is the sign that you have reached harmony where my will and your will are one. Then you no longer pray to persuade me. You pray to partner with me. You no longer ask for your own way. You ask that my eternal plan be fulfilled through you. When you walk in this authority, you will not need to seek influence. Your presence will carry it. Others will feel peace when you enter the room, for you carry the climate of heaven. They will be comforted by your listening, healed by the sincerity in your eyes. You will not need to attempt great works, for greatness already dwells within you. Simply live in alignment with the light, and the world around you will be transformed. And remember, authority does not end with you, it begins through you. I am raising a generation who will walk in power without pride, who will exercise authority with humility, who will carry light without blinding others. You are part of that generation, a people who do not merely speak of the kingdom, but become the kingdom itself. When you walk in unity, peace, and love, heaven will no longer feel distant, for it will touch the earth through you. So go forth, bearer of my kingdom, not in fear, not in haste, not for glory, but that my light may fill the world through you. My beloved child, I have taught you how to be still. Now I teach you how to go forth. I have shaped you in silence, now I send you into sound. You are no longer the hidden one within the furnace, but the bearer of light, the one sent to ignite places where darkness thought it had won. But remember this, my child, light never enters with noise. It simply appears, and darkness retreats. In the same way, when you carry my light, you do not need to strive to prove it. You need only to be present, loving, steadfast. The world you are stepping into is filled with quiet cries. There are souls sitting in the ashes of disappointment, hearts that have forgotten how to pray, eyes that have closed themselves to hope, believing heaven has forgotten them. I am sending you among them not to judge, but to illuminate. Light never questions darkness for existing, it simply shines. When you approach another with kindness, when you listen instead of condemning, when you choose to love instead of reject, you bring my light into their space. That light does not come from your skill or effort, but from my presence within you. You do not need to force yourself to shine. Light does not strain to be bright, it only needs to be in the right place. The light I give you is not to be hidden under a table, but set upon a hill. Yet be careful, for the world will always try to twist the light, turning it into a tool of ambition or self-praise. I do not send you to impress, but to influence. Influence is not born from position, but from purity. When your heart remains clean, your light will pierce places no sermon could reach. You need not argue to be believed. Live so that your very presence is the proof. People may reject your words, but they cannot deny the peace that follows you. Remember my son Jesus, who walked among humankind not with thunder, but with gentle light. He touched lepers, spoke with outcasts, dined with the despised. His light did not dazzle, it revealed. Likewise, you are not sent to make others bow down, but to help them lift their heads. You are not called to speak louder, but to love deeper. When you love as I love, forgive as I forgive, and see others through the eyes of compassion, you shine with the most powerful light heaven has ever given. Yet light cannot shine without being tested. Darkness will not sit still. As you begin to shine, it will whisper to you that your light is too small, your words have no value, your efforts are in vain. It will send voices that make you want to shrink back to believe you are alone. But hear me, my child, darkness only resists what has the power to defeat it. If you carried no light, it would not care. It trembles precisely because you bear my glory. But do not fear. Darkness cannot consume what was born of light. I have placed within you the fire of compassion, the torch of truth, and the jewel of faithfulness. Each time you love, the fire grows brighter. Each time you are patient, the torch burns stronger. Each time you remain faithful in trial, the jewel within your soul shines purer. The world does not need more people who speak of light. It needs those who live as light. When you walk in integrity, when you live with tenderness, when you choose love in the face of pain, you are writing the hymn of my kingdom with your very life. You are not called to carry light with noise. Sometimes the light you bring is the quiet presence beside someone in pain. Sometimes it is a prayer whispered where no one hears or a silent tear shed for a lost soul. Sometimes it is a small act of kindness you think no one notices, but heaven records it as an offering. In my kingdom, power is not measured by scale, but by faithfulness. A single candle can dispel a long night, and a single act of genuine love can change the course of a life. The light you carry is not meant only to guide your own path, it is meant to make a path for others. When you walk in faith, you open a road for those behind you. When you endure trials with grace, you plant hope in weary hearts. When you stay faithful in hidden seasons, you lay the foundation for those who will come after you. You are a forerunner of light, not for honor, but to prepare the way for grace to flow through the world. Be vigilant, my child. As your light grows, so will the praises. People will call you many names, admire your wisdom, celebrate your works and your words. But remember, true light never belongs to the lamp, it belongs to the source. You are not the source, you are the vessel. You are not the sun, you are the mirror. Every time you keep the glory for yourself, your light dims a little. But every time you return that glory to me, your light grows stronger, purer, and more radiant. Guard your humility, lest the light become a fire of pride. And do not think that light only shines on joyful days. Sometimes it burns brightest in the nights of sorrow. When you choose to believe though you cannot see, when you praise through tears, when you love though betrayed, that is when your light reaches farthest. This is the light of true faith, a light not born of circumstance but of communion with me. It does not dazzle but endures. It does not shout but cannot be extinguished. My child, when I call you the bearer of light, it means that wherever you go, the atmosphere changes. When you enter a room, fear lessens, hope stirs, hearts grow warm, not because of what you say, but because I am within you. When you touch another soul, they sense something beyond words, a peace, a hope, a life. They will not say, I met you, but I felt peace. I found hope. I touched life. That is how you will know the light within you is spreading. Step out of the familiar places. Do not fear paths untraveled, for you are the light that makes the path. Breathe heaven's air into barren lands. Scatter seeds of mercy upon the dry soil of humanity. Ignite faith in hearts that have gone dim. Let your light not only shine but warm, for my light not only reveals, it heals. Let it flow through you like a living river, watering every wasteland with grace. And in time you will see, as you shine upon others, you yourself will be illuminated. As you bring warmth to others, you too will be warmed. As you help others find hope, joy will find you again. For light never diminishes when it is shared, it only burns brighter. And when that day comes, when your light has spread across many hearts, I will look upon you and say, "That is my child, the lamp I lit in the midst of the world, my beloved child." When light has taken root in your soul and the flame within you becomes the very breath of new life, I say to you now the time has come to learn how to sow, not with your hands but with your spirit, not into soil but into hearts. For every ray of light you carry is not meant to be kept for yourself, it must become seed for heaven's harvest. There will be those I send across your path not for you to speak to, but simply to be present with. There will be barren fields that only your patience and compassion can soften. Sowing is never the work of haste, but of faithfulness. Therefore my child learns to sow in the dawn, in that sacred hour, when the sun has not yet risen, but the sky begins to glow, when hope has not yet taken form, yet faith has already begun to stir. The sower of the kingdom does not find joy in immediate results, but in being chosen to sow. Every act of love you give, every word of encouragement you speak, every tear you shed for another, these are all seeds falling into my field. Some will sprout quickly, others will rest beneath the cold earth until the appointed season. You cannot force a seed to bloom, just as you cannot force a human heart to change. Your calling is to sow in faithfulness. The flowering belongs to me. Remember, as it is written, those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy. He who goes out weeping, carrying seed to sow, will return with shouts of joy, bringing his sheaves with him. Psalm 126:5-6. You may not see the harvest today, but every tear of faithfulness you shed is gathered by my hands to water tomorrow's joy. This world is starving not only for bread but for light. People hunger to see goodness that is pure love that asks for nothing, faith that does not tire. I send you forth to sow such things. Sow kindness where hearts are hard. Sow forgiveness where bitterness reigns. Sow faith where despair has taken root. Do not fear that your seed is too small, for in my kingdom the mustard seed becomes a great tree, and one small word of love can alter the destiny of a life. To sow is to believe that what you do in silence will echo in eternity. Learn to sow without demanding to reap, for the true sower sows out of love, not for gain. When you sow from a pure heart, heaven records it even when earth forgets. There will be times you sow into hearts that will not remember you, but I will. Times when you sow and are met with rejection, yet that seed will sleep until the heart is ready. Times when you sow and see only failure, but that seed will rise in another generation. Therefore, do not stop sowing. The world does not need more argument. It needs those who dare to love deeply enough to risk themselves. Do not let the hardness of others make your heart hard, for I did not call you to succeed. I called you to be faithful. To sow is also to step into sacrifice. For every seed that falls must die a small death before it rises in life. So too, when you give, you will at times feel empty. When you love, you may be betrayed. When you pour yourself out, you may feel spent. But hear me, my child, nothing given in love is ever lost. Every loss for my sake is multiplied in my kingdom. Remember, even my son fell like a grain of wheat into the ground to bear much fruit. Glory is not found in holding tight, but in letting go. And when you dare to sow yourself, you will discover that nothing you give away truly dies. It transforms into a new form of life. The true sower always works at dawn. Dawn is neither day nor night. It is the meeting point between darkness and light, ending and beginning old and new. I send you to sow in that threshold when humanity is weary for meaning, when souls tremble between doubt and desire for truth. Do not wait for full daylight to sow, for by then the soil will have hardened. Sow when the dew is still on the ground, when the chill still lingers, when no one believes anything can grow. For when you sow in difficult seasons, you declare that darkness is not the final word. There will be times when you sow and see nothing but silence. Yet silence is not rejection, it is the soil at work. The earth covers, nurtures, and protects. You cannot see the seed sprouting, but I can. You cannot hear the soil shifting, but I do. Do not dig up what you've planted just to check its progress. Trust the process. That trust is faith in action, and such faith moves heaven itself. While you sow, let joy be your strength. Do not sow with heaviness, for bitter seeds cannot bear sweet fruit. Sow with a smile, for your smile is the first ray of sunlight to awaken the seed. Sow with gratitude, for the thankful sower never lacks harvest. Sow with blessing, for blessings fall like gentle rain, softening the earth. Remember, every word you speak is a seed. Speak encouragement, and you sow hope. Speak love, and you sow life. Speak forgiveness, and you sow freedom. Speak prayer, and you sow heaven on earth. But hear me, child, do not sow in bitterness, for poison seeds infect the soil. Let me heal you before you sow, that your seeds may carry heaven's purity. If someone has wounded, you bring that pain to my altar. Do not plant from unhealed wounds, for such seeds bear sorrow. Let me be your healer, so that you may sow from a heart made whole. Then your seed will not only grow, it will fragrance the world. Each time you sow, I also sow. When you open your mouth to pray, I open the heavens to rain. When you stretch out your hands to give, I stretch out mine to protect. When you offer me your weariness, I plant new strength within you. For the sower and the Lord of the harvest are never apart. You do not labor alone. Every step you take, I walk with you. Every drop of sweat you shed, I count. Every whisper you breathe in secret, I hear. And in my time, the seeds you have sown will rise into fields of light. Then you will look back and see that every small act of faithfulness has become a golden path leading into a glorious harvest. What you thought was lost has only been multiplied. And when you stand in that field, hearing the wind of grace rustle through the sheaves, you will understand those who sow in the dawn do not only sow for others, they sow the light of the kingdom within their own hearts. My beloved child, now that the winds have quieted, the fire has softened, and the light within you no longer flickers but burns as a steady flame, I say to you, it is time to breathe the breath of heaven. No longer the breath of one striving merely to exist, but the breath of a soul reborn in me. This breath carries not the scent of earth, but the fragrance of eternity. It is the breath of covenant, where you and I are no longer two separate beings, but one rhythm, one movement, one spirit flowing in harmony. You no longer live for me, but you now live in me. You no longer ask for my presence, for now you and I have become one. Listen, my child. The heartbeat in your chest no longer belongs to the flesh. It belongs to heaven. It is the pulse of unending love, of boundless grace, of peace that no storm can touch. Each time you breathe in, you are drawing in the breath of my life. Each time you breathe out, you release the breath of life to the world. I have placed within you a holy rhythm to receive and to give, to unite and to flow. You are no longer a seeker of my presence, for you have become the dwelling place of my glory. You no longer wait for heaven to arrive, for heaven now breathes through you. The breath of heaven does not come as a roaring wind that breaks walls or shakes the ground, but as a gentle whisper that caresses the soul, a murmur that brushes the heart of the beloved. It is the same breath Elijah heard when he stood in the cave after the storm, after the earthquake, after the fire. He perceived me in the still, small voice. 1 Kings 1:9, 1:2. Now, my child, You are in that very moment where all sounds fade and only my breath resounds within your being. It is not a sound heard by ears, but one felt through the essence of your being. Not a song with melody, yet one that makes the entire soul vibrate with life. When you breathe in, me-time dissolves. There is no past to regret, no future to fear, only the sacred present, the eternal, now wrapped in divine light. You begin to see that no moment is insignificant, for I dwell in every instant. Every breath, every step, every glance becomes a prayer, an act of worship. When you live in my breath, even your silence becomes praise. I have led you through fire, so you would be purified through wind, so you would be strengthened through light, so you would know how to shine. But now I bring you into union, for the purpose of purification was never perfection alone, but communion. The goal of every trial was not to test your endurance, but to teach you how to breathe with me in all things. The breath of heaven is oneness, where your will and mine no longer contend, where your spirit moves in rhythm with eternity. Imagine, my child, a vast ocean where every wave is my breath. You are a drop within that ocean, small yet carrying the fullness of its nature. Each time you breathe, the ocean breathes through you. Each time you pray, it is the ocean of love lifting itself into the air. When you understand this, you will stop trying to hold my breath. You will simply let it flow. For the breath of heaven cannot be contained. It can only be shared. My breath not only restores, it creates. Within it lies the same power of Genesis, where I spoke and all things came into being. When I breathed into Adam's nostrils, he became a living soul. Genesis 2:7. Now I breathe again, not to form flesh, but to awaken the spirit. I breathe so that the parts of you once thought dead may live again, that dreams thought extinguished may reignite, that promises thought forgotten may rise anew. Each time you allow me to breathe through you, you bring creation back into the world. But know this, the breath of heaven dwells only in the humble and the still. It cannot remain in a heart filled with noise, nor in a soul striving for its own voice. So my child, keep your heart soft. Do not let the clamor of fear or the arrogance of self drown out my whisper. When you are still, I will speak. When you cease striving, I will act. When you simply are, I am. This breath will change how you see. You will no longer look upon others with judgment, but with compassion. You will see my image even in your enemies, my reflection in the broken, and my presence within yourself. Every encounter will become holy ground. Every word you speak will be a blessing, every action, a dance of divine harmony. Then you will not merely live, you will move with heaven. There will be days when you feel this breath faint, as though it has left you. Fear not. Like an ember that seems to fade yet still glows, my breath never departs. It waits for your stillness that my wind might fan it again. Remember, I have never left you. Even in your driest days, it was I who breathed for you when you could not breathe for yourself. I am the breath within your breath. That is why you still live, still hope, still love, even when you do not understand why. The breath of heaven will make you a bearer of life. Wherever you go, the atmosphere will shift, heaviness will lift, fear will fade, and hope will rise. Not because of your strength, but because I dwell in your breath. When you speak, your words will no longer be mere language, but life itself. When you pray, your prayer will no longer be a request, but heaven's own echo. When you love, that love will no longer be finite. It will flow with the eternity of God. Now you understand why I led you through fire, wind, and light, because only those refined in all three can carry my breath fully. The breath of heaven cannot fill a heavy soul. It fills only those who have learned to let go. When you release, you do not lose, you make space for me. And when I fill that space, every breath you draw becomes worship, and every breath you release becomes creation. You stand now in the moment for which the saints longed, the union of the soul with the life of the Creator. This is no longer faith, it is communion, no longer prayer, it is coexistence. I am no longer above you, but within your very breath. From this moment on, you need not say, "Lord, come," for I am here breathing in you, living through you, speaking with your voice. When you live in my breath, you will realize that nothing is truly distant. Heaven and earth are not apart, for breath bridges them. You and I are not apart for this. Breath is the bridge between soul and eternity, and as you breathe with me, you become the meeting place of heaven and earth. This is your destiny, to be the breath of heaven among mankind. And I, the source of all living breath, will say to you, you have learned to stand in the wind, to shine in the dark, and now you have become my own breath. At that moment, all boundaries dissolve. You are no longer a drop within the sea. You are the sea within the drop. And with every breath you take, I will move through you, that all creation may know I still live, I still love, I still breathe through those who are mine. My beloved child, when the fire has completed its refining work, when the wind has strengthened your roots, and when the light within you has become your very breath, then the soul is invited into full union with me. This is no longer a journey of striving, but a journey of presence. No longer a search, but a realization. No longer a drawing near, but an indwelling. For now you no longer live merely for me, but in me, and I live in you. The breath you take in is no longer your own. It is the breath of heaven, the same breath that entered Adam when I gave him life for the first time, and that same breath is now renewing the creation within you. There is a sacred moment when the soul transcends all boundaries of understanding, where words no longer suffice, where prayer becomes holy silence, and in that silence you no longer perceive me as an idea, but as the very essence of your being. There you no longer say God is with me, but rather I am in God. There all fear dissolves, all questions grow still, and you realize that there is no separation left between you and me. Like a drop of water falling into the ocean ceases to be distinct, your soul merges into me, into the eternal flow of love and light. You have traveled through many seasons to arrive here, through fire, through wind, through trials, and through dawn. Each phase was not random, but preparation, so that your soul might become tender enough for this union. For I cannot fill what still clings to its own will. I cannot blend with what insists on being apart. But now, since you have learned the art of surrender, when you no longer try to command the current but simply allow yourself to be carried, then, and only then, you begin to truly live. Life does not begin when you achieve, but when you rest in my embrace. Let my breath become the rhythm of your existence. Every time you inhale, remember that you are drawing life directly from me. Every time you exhale, know that you are releasing my love into the world. Prayer is no longer an act apart, but the breath that joins heaven and earth. You need not seek me in distant places, for I am in every heartbeat, in every quiet moment, in every step you take. When you love, it is I who loves through you. When you forgive, it is I who shows mercy through you. When you weep, it is I who wipes the tears away with my own light. When your soul becomes one with my breath, you will begin to feel the rhythm of heaven itself, the pulse of life, the current of unending love, the movement of infinite mercy. You will see the world through different eyes, no longer divided, no longer angry, no longer us and them, but only we in him. You will realize that every soul is connected to me by an invisible thread of light, and each time you love another, that thread glows brighter. Your heart will grow wider, gentler, for you will no longer see others through your own eyes, but through the gaze of the Creator. You will begin to behold miracles in the smallest of things. A ray of morning light, the song of a bird, a drop of dew on a leaf, or the smile of a stranger, each will become a whisper from me, saying, I am here. You will see me in the breath of a child, in the tears of the suffering, and the searching eyes of the lost. and you will understand that heaven is not merely a place to which you go, but a reality you live in when you live in me. Heaven is not far away, it is within you, not in the future, but now. Do not fear silence, for in silence I am speaking. Do not fear emptiness, for in emptiness I am full. Do not be troubled when you feel nothing, for that is when I am teaching you to live beyond feeling and into being. You need no proof to believe, for true faith does not depend on sight. True faith is daring to breathe with me, even in the darkness, knowing that this breath will never be lost. Even when you are silent, I am singing within you. Even when you stop moving, I am still moving through you. Remember, my breath is the source of all that exists. When I spoke, the universe came into being. When I breathed, life was born. And now that same breath dwells within you. You carry within yourself the same wind that has passed through the stars, that has stirred the seas and bowed the mountains. You are not as small as you think. You are the echo of eternity, the meeting place of heaven and earth. When you speak with love, I am speaking through you. When you touch others with kindness, it is I who am touching them with the hands of heaven. I want you to live with this awareness that you do not need to reach upward to attain heaven, for heaven has already descended into you. When you exhale love, you are expanding the kingdom. When you inhale peace, you are nourishing your soul. Live as one who knows that each breath is a quiet prayer. Do not measure your days by minutes and hours, but by the depth of your awareness of me. Do not measure success by what you accomplish, but by the depth of the love you carry. One day, when this world fades and your final breath leaves your body, you will not fall into nothingness. You will return to the very breath that formed you. Therefore, do not fear death. It is not the end, but the return of breath to its source. As the dew returns to the ocean, as the light returns to the sun, so shall you return into me, where all beginnings and endings dissolve into one. But before that day comes, I desire that you live each moment as though you are already in heaven. Live deeply, live truthfully, live fully, live in love. My child, hear me. The breath of heaven is not a distant wind, but the very rhythm beating in your chest even now. Be still and feel it. Pause and listen to my voice within each breath. I am there in the gentleness, in the warmth, in the quiet light resting upon your soul. I have never left you. I have only waited for you to stop long enough to realize that I am still breathing within you. And when you truly know this, you will never feel alone again. For how can you be alone when the very air around you, the heartbeat within you, and every breath you take is me, my beloved child? When your soul has learned to breathe with my breath, when every rhythm of your being has merged with the heartbeat of heaven, that is the moment you enter perfect union in the light. This is the stage where there is no longer a boundary between worship and living, between prayer and breathing, between action and rest. Everything you do, no matter how small, becomes a hymn of praise. Every step you take becomes a silent song rising to the heavens, for your very presence has become the melody of light. When you live in me, everything you touch is illuminated, restored, and redefined through the gaze of eternity. Union is not the loss of self, but the return to the true image I engraved within your soul from the beginning. You do not vanish into nothingness. You are reborn into your purest essence, where you are still you, but you are you in me. When I breathed into Adam, he became a living soul. When I breathe into you, you become a reborn soul. To be united with me is not a journey away from the world, but a journey that brings heaven into the world. You do not need to abandon life to belong to me. You only need to allow me to dwell within every moment of your life. My light does not merely shine around you, it radiates through your soul. It does not only chase away darkness, it transforms the darkness into a mirror that reflects my glory. Do not fear your weakness, for I do not reject it, I redeem it. Just as gold is refined by fire, just as clay becomes a vessel of beauty, so too I turn your cracks into windows for light to pour through. When you surrender the places that once broke, you will become the very places where my light shines the brightest. For I do not only desire that you carry the light, my child, I desire that you become the light. Look back upon your journey from ashes to flame, from wind to radiance, from trial to peace. None of this was random. It was all preparation for your harmony with the nature of heaven. When you breathe, heaven breathes. When you laugh, heaven sings. When you love, heaven expands. You are the meeting point of heaven and earth, the sacred space I have chosen to reveal my glory. So do not think of yourself as small within the vastness of the universe. You are the reflection of eternity, the living proof that I am still creating, still loving, still here. When you truly step into this union, you will realize that love is no longer something you do, it is what you are. You will no longer strive to love, for you have become love itself. You will no longer struggle to forgive, for you are immersed in the source of forgiveness. You will no longer chase after peace, for you dwell in the one who is peace. In this state, the walls the world builds between sacred and secular, between divine and ordinary collapse. For in me, nothing is ordinary. When you wash another's feet, you are touching me. When you hold the hand of the suffering, you are embracing heaven. When you weep with another, your tears fall into the river of mercy. In this light, everything is seen as it truly is, without disguise, without pretense, without masks. Light does not condemn, light reveals. When you see others through my light, you will no longer see faults but fragments waiting to be gathered. You will no longer see sinners but souls on their way home. You will no longer see enemies but hearts still longing for love. For in my light, everything is wrapped in mercy. When you live in this light, you no longer react out of instinct, you respond out of the nature of heaven. Let this light lead you even into the places you do not understand. For union is not about knowing everything, it is about trusting everything. You do not need to see the road ahead, for the light within you is the path. You do not need to control the future, for light needs no map to reach where it shines. As long as you remain in me, you are already in the right place. Believe that nothing can separate you from my love, not trial, not darkness, not sin, not distance, not even time. For when you dwell in the light, every shadow becomes only a backdrop for glory to shine brighter. There will come moments when you feel so immersed in the light that you no longer know where I end and you begin. But my child, that is not losing yourself, it is finding yourself. When you dissolve into the light, you are not erased, you are restored. I do not make you disappear, I make you whole. Light does not remove color, it makes every hue more vivid. So when you are in me, you do not lose your identity, it is sanctified. You become fully you, the you I imagined before the foundation of time. Then you will understand a secret known only to those who live in union. Holiness is not separation from the world, but presence in the world without being defiled by it. You will walk into places heavy with darkness and not be afraid, for the light within you is strong enough to fill the room. You will love the unlovable because you love with my heart. You will forgive the unforgivable because you forgive with my mercy. You will no longer live to prove yourself, but to reflect me. In this light, all things become transparent. There is no before or after, no coming or going. Time dissolves, and only the eternal present remains, where you realize that you were never truly apart from me, just as I have never been apart from you. Every journey, every trial, every tear, every prayer has been a note in the grand symphony I composed for your soul. And now that symphony reaches its perfect harmony, where you and I are no longer two voices, but one single song echoing through everlasting light. When you dwell in this union, know that everything you do carries the meaning of heaven. A smile, you offer a prayer, you whisper a simple act of kindness, all become the resonance of my kingdom. And the light you carry will continue to spread not only in your generation, but through the generations after you, like rays extending infinitely beyond time. Therefore remain in me as the branch remains in the vine, so that you may bear much fruit. Let the light within you burn without ceasing, not to glorify yourself, but to guide others home to me. You are the temple of light, the breath of heaven, the voice of eternity among mortals. Live as one who knows that every moment of your existence is the revelation of my presence on earth. And when your light merges with mine, heaven and earth shall join in one everlasting hymn. Glory to the Creator who is within us and through us shines forever. My beloved child, now you have come to the end of your journey, not an ending, but a return. Everything you have walked through, the purifying fire, the testing wind, the awakening light, and the sacred union, were all steps leading you back into my arms. Your journey began with the first breath I gave you, and now it closes with your final breath merging back into me. But do not be afraid, my child, for the final breath is not the end, it is the doorway into eternity. It is not a loss, but a perfect reunion between the soul and the Creator. I have seen every breath you've taken, every beat of your heart, every rising and every fall. Nothing in your life has been forgotten. Every moment has been recorded in light. From your first cry to your final prayer, I have been there. When you laughed, I rejoiced with you. When you wept, I held you. When you thought you were alone, I stood beside you. And now, as every storm has passed and every fear has quieted, you are stepping into the still sea of eternity. Eternity is not time without end. It is a moment that never ceases. There is no yesterday, today, or tomorrow, but only my eternal now. You will no longer measure life by years, but by the pulse of love. You will no longer count achievements, but the depth of presence. Every boundary of the body will dissolve, leaving only the radiant soul, pure, luminous, and free. I know you once feared death, worried about the unknown, and clung tightly to what you feared to lose. But my child, death is only the final breath returning to its source. Imagine a drop of water descending from the mountain peak, flowing through streams, over stones, resting in the current, and finally returning to the sea. The drop does not cease to exist. It returns to the ocean that birthed it. So too your soul is returning to the great ocean of boundless love. You do not vanish, you are completed. You do not leave me, you merge into me. In this union you will finally understand that there was never a moment when I left you, nor a single breath in which you did not belong to me. When you pass through the gate of eternity, the first thing you will feel is not strangeness but familiarity. Your soul will not feel lost, for you are coming home. Your home is not made of wood or stone or memory, but of rest within me. There are no tears there, no struggles, no questions of why. Every question will melt like morning mist in the sunrise of perfect understanding. You will no longer need to ask for, you will have everything. You will no longer need to believe, for you will see. You will no longer need to wait, for you will live within the reality where every promise is fulfilled. I know you once thought eternity was far away, a final reward at the end. But my child, eternity has never waited at the finish line. It began the moment you first knew me. Every time you loved, you touched eternity. Every time you forgave, you opened heaven's door. Every time you paused to listen for my voice, you inhaled the breath of eternity. And now you are simply completing the rest, the part where all that is temporary yields to what will never fade. When you step into eternity, you will see the faces of those who loved you, the souls who went before you waiting to welcome you home. There will be joy beyond expression, peace beyond measure, and radiance beyond comparison. Everything you once feared will seem small, and every wound you once carried will shine as light. You will see that every sorrow, every delay, every moment of waiting was a golden thread in the tapestry of grace I was weaving. And as you look back, you will not see a random life, but a perfect symphony of love. When your soul blends into mine, you will hear the sound that all creation has been singing since the beginning, the song of unending life. It has no fixed melody, for it is the heartbeat of the universe itself. It is the whisper in the wind, the rhythm of the rain, the breath of every living being. You will not hear it with your ears, but with your soul, and you will know that you have never been separate from that song. For from the moment I first breathed into you, you became a note in that eternal melody. And now you are called to sing forever, not with words, but with your very being. Worship is no longer what you do, but what you are. You become the song of heaven within eternity. No more fear, no more striving, no more distance, only pure, expanding, everlasting love. In that love you will not lose your name. Your name will be written in light. You will not disappear. You will be made complete. My beloved child, I speak to you now, a secret that only souls who have reached the end can comprehend. Eternity is not the place you go, it is the one you return to. When you take your final breath, I will be your next. When you close your eyes to the world, you will open them in my light. When you let go of fear, you will be carried in the arms of forever. And when you hear my voice calling, my child, it is time to come home. You will not tremble, for deep within you have always known it was the promise I whispered to you from the beginning. Since the day I created you, I have longed for this moment when your soul and mine would become one with no barriers, no doubts, no limits. This is what all creation awaits, what angels sing about, what the whole universe leans toward, the union of the Creator and His creation. No more tears, no more darkness, only light, only love, only life, unending, where I am all in all, and all is in me. My beloved child, rest now in the breath of heaven. All that you ever sought has been found. Every prayer you ever offered has been answered. Every step you ever took has led you here to the place where there is no more wandering, no more time, only you and me forever. And I say to you, my child, abide in the peace of eternity, for you are home. Thank you for listening to today's message. Remember to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that together we can continue to receive the living word, build unshakable faith, and walk in the boundless love of God. Amen.